Hi Leo, how are you guys doing this week? Thank you very much for joining me. We are going to do 3 card tarot for Leo any second now. In fact, I've already started shuffling away and asking for this. I'm doing it this new way, right? Because this lets you look at the cards rather than me just kind of waving them at the camera, you know, because you just kind of wave a card at the camera for a second. It doesn't really get its meaning across. And, I'm always saying the most important interpretation in these readings is the ones you put on them, Leo. So, that's the general idea of what we're doing here. Okay, so let's have the first card in this spread for the sign of Leo. This reading is happening late August 2019. Okay, it's kind of mid-August now, and by the time it's out, it'll be late August. And it's the King of Swords. Okay, and there we go. Let's put the other two in so we can see roughly what's going on there. King of Swords, right, Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. Are you having to walk on eggshells around somebody? Now then, it's important because there's a huge decision. Look at this great sword here, and it's the King of Swords. It's time to make this thing happen, guys. That's what this is about. But he is right up on his wall there. The last thing we really want is him falling off, isn't it? And that's why everyone is walking on eggshells around this character. But it's just the way the guy is, really, and I would imagine this is male energy somewhere around you, okay, somewhere in your chart there. But it's swords, it's about actually getting things done. It really is, but it's really, it's about the energy that goes on before that, working out how are things actually going to work out, how are they going to affect other people. Have you got a real good plan in mind, something you'd really like to do, Leo? Only you've got to get past this guy first. And is this a real person, or is this a thought? Is this something from your past maybe that's making you think you'd better not do it? Could you possibly be walking on eggshells around yourself, Leo? It does happen, as crazy as it seems. Let's go into Ascended Masters, which is the Oracle deck that we're using this week. Good old Doreen Virtue there. Her cards never let us down, I'm going to say that, because it's pretty well true. Okay, so we're in the Ascended Masters and saying, tell us more about King of Swords in this reading for Leo, please. Tell us more about King of Swords in this reading for the sign of Leo. And we've got Twin Flame. Okay, this takes us quite close to the idea of love and relationships when we get Twin Flame like this. Very, very positive energy, but he's kind of looking off into the sky there and thinking, sort of what's going to happen. There's a swan here, so that is a real powerful mystical symbol and a symbol of gracefulness. So you're kind of being called upon here, Leo, to act in a graceful way if you possibly can, and certainly to show out your own true beauty. Now, if this isn't actually a relationship reading to you, or that isn't the way it's striking you, and your interpretation is the one that really matters here, Leo. If it's just it's not about kind of affairs of the heart and that kind of thing. There's something here about making an alliance which is going to be incredibly productive, but you do need to kind of show yourself at your best and your most graceful. We've also got the birds in the sky here flying. They're very, very pretty and very like doves, only they're pink. Peace there, and higher heart chakra energy showing up in that as well. Don't forget the stars, they're all out there. That constellation looks a bit like the Pleiades to me. So we are thinking about then our connection to the stars, all that kind of thing. So if we're all connected to the stars and everything's positive, why do we need to worry about this guy? I don't know. That really depends on you. But I would strongly suggest it's never a great thing to worry about anyone or anything. 99% of the things that I worry about never happen. So some people would say, well, worrying is the correct strategy then, because it works. But it isn't, because you want to be putting worries away, because this really positive alliance is coming in somewhere along the line here. And that is why this has got to be negotiated now. Okay, let's move on to the middle card in this spread for Leo then, and we've got the Knight of Wands. Right, interesting actually. I just did a video for Cancer a second ago, and we had King of Swords. No, we didn't, sorry. We had a Swords card and a Wands card as we kind of progressed through the reading. Now, this is the heart of the matter, and this guy actually can remind us of this guy a little bit, because he's the knight, so he's kind of, he's high energy, he's quite high up the suit, not quite a king, but certainly a knight, certainly got a lot of powers, and a lot of authority to act on behalf of the king or whoever's really in charge of things here. So he's looking really sorted out, and his horse is on the move here. He's got the wand. Things are happening. Things are actually going on. So this would be the heart of the matter. And here we go, King of Swords. This big decision, this walking on eggshells business. Well, you do have to look out for the ego of the lion here. But since this is a reading for Leo, I'm just going to really concentrate on the Leo side of this and say that there's something to do with acting out, showing out, coming through in this card, because it's an actual happening energy. It's actually fluid energy. I'm always saying fluid energy for one reason or another, but this is fluid energy because the situation is fluid. The situation is actually moving. This character threatens to hold things up a little bit, but do try and face this down, okay? Because people like this, when you talk to them really kind of genuinely and sensibly, you can often make a big difference. Quite often people end up like that because they just never felt understood, so they kind of don't see other people in a friendly light. And if that's just a negative thought in your own mind, well, you know, that can't be helped. Sometimes spiritual teachers kind of blame people, oh, you're negative. And that really isn't the way to go on at people, I don't think. But it is a definite fact that you know, we do come up against problems in life, and we do have to deal with them somehow. And sometimes that kind of creates a break in the flow of event. So I was going to waffle on and say, tell us more about that card, please. And one just kind of fell out, or two fell out actually, but there we are. I'm going to use the other one as the third one as a significator for whatever this is. This is artistic expression, and it's Paul the Venetian, and he has wonderful energy, really good energy around getting things done, and he plays into the gracefulness in the swan that came up with King of Swords here, because he has a lot to do with, well, artistic expression, as the card says, and that is something we're all capable of, you know, in this modern world, and it's been this way. I sometimes listen to old music from the 1920s and 30s, and it's been going on since then, really. You can hear the radio programmes trying to get more professional as they go along. They begin with kind of, you can hear them turning the pages and things because they want it to sound homely and natural, and they slowly contrive it more and more, and by the 1940s it's all getting kind of plastic, and it's getting to the point where rather than being homely, and rather than understanding that every house probably has a musician in it somewhere, even if the musician doesn't actually know they're a musician yet. That was always the case, and it's still always the case actually, but now people want to look at television, people want to look at the movies and decide, you know, one person has to be the star musician, magician, performer, whatever it is, and all the rest must be rubbish. You get it in spiritual readings as well, and if you do readings, guys, you probably know what I'm talking about. You know, everybody thinks sort of you only really get the best readings off people who've got a posh website. I'm always under pressure as I've tried to sort of grow this channel to, you know, put like worrying titles on things, because if you can worry people, they'll watch your video. That actually is advice that's getting given out. No, I read on YouTube because YouTube suits me, and I hope it suits you guys as well. But you know, don't believe the hype. There's a good deal of hype comes with this. You can end up hyping yourself up, you know, because you've got to go with that flow of energy. So just remember the gracefulness, and remember that whatever art you've got in you is good enough. It's more than good enough, because that is real art as it comes into people's minds, as it comes into the heart. Heart, pretty much the same thing, I would strongly suggest, my friends. Okay, so that's a good one for Leo, actually, because it shows that, you know, it uses that energy of wanting to show out. And I'm not going to accuse you of showing off, actually. I know lots of Leos who aren't show-offs. Right, so we get to card number 3, and it's number 13, Death. But look at all the energy here, and, you know, we are really going to have to get this decision made, because the situation is going to move on, okay? And this is going to mean closing one door, or maybe closing several doors. Fluid energy, guys, it depends who you are and it depends what you're doing, but this is closing one door to allow the next door to open. That's the only way this card can really take us. It says death, doesn't mean anyone's going to die. Sometimes it means that people feel as if they're going to die, in the metaphorical sense, you know. It can be a time when people think it's all over, but really nothing's ever all over. You know what I mean? Nothing. You know, the world is always going to keep going on. We're terribly worried about killing the planet and everything, and you know that is a real serious concern. I'm not trying to undermine the environmental side of people's hearts at all, but really, really worth remembering that the world will always go on, regardless of whether we're going along with the flow or not. I think if we keep ruining the world, it'll kick us off somehow. But she'll survive, she'll go on, so go with the flow, guys. Alice has done it here, see? She's drank the drink me, she's eaten the eat me, and so she's dealt with this when that happens, really, because that is the magical influence coming into her, and that is when she finds the ability to deal with this situation, which is, this looks like the sticking point to me. Yeah, this guy usually is, and he's quite powerful. So even if he's just a thought, he's quite powerful, and he's got to be got round somehow. But she does it, yeah, and she's bound to do it, really, because she's got the Knight of Wands lion here. And he's swashbuckling and he's got the wand. So she's going to do it. She's going to manage it. She's blowing out the candle and she's going forward into a new tomorrow. So telling us more about that, we have Clear and Shield Your Energy. El Maria, excuse me, Mr. Lion. I'm just going to pop you there so we can look at this card for a few minutes here. Clear and shield your energy. Now, as we're looking at it, I've just drawn to say that for a few minutes. Think of that kind of YouTube, whatever it was I was saying about YouTube being artificial and plastic. Sure, look at it for a few minutes, but try and remember these images. If you're seriously following this reading, try and remember these images because they'll kind of inform you as you go along. You come away from your reading or from your computer screen or whatever, and you know, you believe strongly in these things, and I do, and I go out into the world like we all do, and the world wants us to kind of not really see things this way because it's not hugely popular. It's not something that lots and lots of people are really into. It's, you know, there are tens of thousands of people watching the tarot on YouTube at any one time, I've no doubt. But that is a worldwide thing, and that's tens of thousands out of 3 billion. So it's kind of it's not a really kind of massively followed thing in the world, but you hang on to that energy, okay? You clear that and you shield yourself against all those influences that are whispering, never, 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 it'll never work. It will work, it's going to work, it's going to happen, guys, okay? El Maria says, so hold that image in your heart, do hang on to that, okay? I would say that's the most important image in this reading. It does come in late in the reading, but it seems to give great significance to everything here. Okay, so twin flame, very positive, yeah, keep thinking positive and keep working on your graceful side. Try and be as good to people as you can be, and you know, it will come back to you 1,000-fold, I'm sure. Be yourself in an artistic way, because we do all have some art in us, and that is all the result of divine inspiration, I am convinced. And I'll say it again, Death card, blow that candle out, clear and shield your energy, because it's going to be a new ride, it's going to be a new life, it's going to be a whole new ball game. It really is, Leo. So thanks for watching, guys. I'm going to leave it there. Don't forget to thumbs up, please, subscribe and tap the bell, leave me a comment. We will share the journey. I do enjoy doing that, and you know, great stuff. See you again very soon. Peace.